Hi everybody, John Gill here from Journey into Pickleball. And have I caught a big fish from that sea? He lives right on the sea. Bob O'Brien, one of the originals. This is so exciting. We've got the original paddles as well, wooden paddles he's showing me.
No, that's my mother. Now, you see.
That's your mother's?
my dad, he's Bob O'Brien too. He's the original one back there.
Ah, cool.
I'm just the son.
The son. Bob,
yeah.
This is amazing. There's a pickleball court in the backyard. There's one over there. We're at beautiful Bainbridge Island. The original court's just up the road, which I just saw. Tell me your story and how it all with pickleball.
It just started a neighborhood game. I mean, everybody's read the story on it. And Joel Pritchard and Barney basically, and Bill Bell rented a house here. He didn't live on the beach, but he was staying here at the time. And, they just kind of got the game going and said it's kind of fun. So we started playing it, and our folks started playing it. And pretty soon, okay, let's do it. But it stayed on Bainbridge. That was in 1965 when it started. And it pretty much stayed on Bainbridge until, I'd say, maybe 75, 80. And what really got it going, one of the things got going was Bill Gates at Microsoft. They were interviewing one time, and he lived over in Hood Canal, which is across the way. And they asked him, well, what do you do for recreation? He said, well, one of the things I do is I play pickleball. And everybody, whoa, and that was in the Wall Street Journal on that article. Oh. And all of a sudden, Barney said that Monday he came to work, and he was getting maybe 2 or 3 orders, a week. All of a sudden, he had 200 orders that Monday when he came in, because everybody had read the article on Bill Gates playing pickleball, and everybody wanted to do what Bill Gates did.
Wow.
Anyway, so that one worked.
I knew he played pickleball. That's amazing.
Yeah. So anyway, that's where the game picked up, and then it came into Seattle. I think you read Jennifer Core's book.
History of Pickleball.
And the first tournament was Nally Valley they were pickle producers over down Tacoma. So they sponsored the first pickleball tournament, Nally Valley.
Yep.
And so that kind of got a little more, got expanded, and then they started. Barney would go back to the National Education Conference for PE teachers. I think it was back in Kansas City. And so he'd go back there with pickleball, and he'd try and show it back there and try and get the schools to pick it up as a recreation. And around here in Seattle, where it does rain in the wintertime, so kids started playing it indoors, and so that kind of got a little bit going. They got their parents involved, so that's about as much I can tell you.
That is amazing. So in 1965, did you were involved with the guys playing together?
Oh yeah,
at that court?
Yeah, all the
as neighbors, right? All around here.
Court, yeah. And like I say, Barney had one down the way that was just kind of roughed out on a driveway, and we played back there too on the deal.
So was Barney, who was the original one that said, I need something for my kids to do?
There were three founders.
Yeah.
One was Bill Bell, Barney McCallum, and Joel Pritchard. Joel Pritchard was probably the most famous because he was a state legislator. He was the lieutenant governor here in the state of Washington at one time, and really was kind of the face of it. Barney was the guy who kind of ran the shop, you might say, out of his office over in Seattle. And he put the kits together that he was selling for $29.95. And like I say, he was only maybe 2 or 3 a week type of deal. And all it was a couple balls, a net, and 4 paddles.
Wow. So do you remember who actually played the first game on the court? Or did Barney go out with some kids?
It was probably Joel Pritchard, I would guess, because it was over in his court and the kids were bored. I mean, it's everybody heard. And so he batted around with his kids, but the rules really weren't set up for, probably a few months because nobody figured out, because it's kind of like tennis, badminton, and everything else.
Yes.
So on the serve, people were serving overhand. Well, that didn't work out well.
Right, exactly.
People were hitting it in the air on the deal, not on the 2 bounces. So, you could serve, and then you had 2 guys stand at the net. I mean, that was the end of the point right there.
Yes, that's right.
So then the kitchen was interesting. Now, nobody knows the original story and how they named it the kitchen or how it did. But the story I was told was Bill Bell, one of the founders, was a tall guy. He was probably 6'3", 6'4". And so when they said, okay, you can't stand at the net like you do at tennis. You got to move back. So they moved it back 3 feet. Well, Bill Bell was still tall enough where he could reach over the net and pound him back. So they kept moving him back. And finally, they moved him back to 7 feet, and he couldn't reach over the net. And that's where they said, okay, that's where the line's going to be. You can't go over there unless the ball bounces in there. Now, I don't know if that's a true story or not, but it makes sense from what
Makes
I've
sense
heard.
because of if it gets too far net, you're going to really hurt somebody as well. It's just far too close.
So Bill Bell
Yeah,
might be the reason why we have a kitchen. No, nobody knows
because he's so tall.
for a fact of why.
Brilliant. Well, that's
It's
how
as
the
good
game's.
as any. Nobody knows why they nailed with the kitchen. You know, why do they call it the kitchen?
Don't know where the nickname came. The official name's non-volley zone, which makes sense, but the kitchen, as I said, I always call pickleball a fun game with a funny
Well,
name.
it is. I mean, maybe one of the wives said, "Hey, get out of my kitchen" or something.
Probably the size of a kitchen, maybe.
It
You know,
is.
it's
I mean,
kind of a.
who knows what it was?
But all these fun names just makes it even more fun.
Oh yeah.
Because everyone says, "Oh, you know, it's a funny name," but it's like you know, just like you can't judge a book by its cover, you can't judge a game by its name.
Right.
And I always say, I'm glad it's called pickleball. Ironically, I mean, they could have called it paddle tennis or something.
Now you get to the name.
It's more fun.
Everybody thinks it's a dog pickles.
Yes, let's talk about that.
Pickles came a couple years after the game started.
Yep.
And around here, if you're from Washington, Washington crew is very, very good. University of Washington's historically has had a great crew. 1936, remember they had the boys in the boat.
Okay.
They were University of Washington
Okay.
rowers. Anyway,
Rowers,
when
yep.
you tried out for crew, they had the varsity boat, you know, junior varsity boat, the freshman boat, and then they had the leftover guys. Well, they'd put them in a boat to row, and it was called the pickle boat because it was just, they threw the guys that didn't make the varsity and the other boats into the boat, and it was just kind of a barge that they'd row around to practice rowing. Well, anyway, that was called the pickle boat, and so people kind of call pickleball because they threw, you know, badminton together with ping pong, and you know,
Tennis strokes.
and strokes and everything
So
else.
it's a hybrid.
So it's kind of a throw together. You know, so that's what I have heard how the actual name got called in.
That's right, from the pickleboat cruise as a hybrid of crews coming in.
Yeah.
So, and pickleball being a hybrid of sports, particularly tennis and ping pong and badminton's court. And then, I don't know, it's kind of like then they made out as pickles. I think somebody said something about, oh, it was named after your dog or something. Oh, yeah, that sounds good.
Hey, it actually
People like dogs better than boats.
It sounds better and it's easier to explain.
Yeah, that's why pickles a dog. Also, fetching the ball
you
and all
talk
that.
from the Midwest and you talk about crew, they don't know what you're talking about.
That's right. So, and it sounded good like pickles, a dog
and there
fetched
was
the
a
ball for
pickle
them.
dog. I mean, there's
Yes.
no doubt about it. It was a little black dog.
Yeah.
It was maybe 2 years later, and it would always run around trying to grab the ball. You know,
There you
so,
go.
you know.
That makes a pretty cool story as well. But
anyway.
the main thing is, Bob, that's amazing. Thanks so much for your contribution.
no problem.
And you're still playing.
Still
This
playing.
is
You
your
know.
quarterback.
Well, yeah.
That's awesome.
I've slowed down. I'm 81 right now, and
Looking good, mate.
but you know I can still stand there and hit them back and forth, but not very good going back for the lobs.
Right. We'll just tell the opponents not to lob us.
there
It's
you
very
go.
cruel. But mate, that is so exciting. Like, it's an absolute pleasure to meet you and hear more of history, and much respect to you and the other founders and in pickleball. It's just making people's lives much happier.
Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, mate.
And like
It's been amazing.
Just keep promoting the game.
I will,
that's
and
it.
I got pickleball. I'm World Pickleball Association. I'm trying very hard putting on tournaments, and I'll put them around the world. Back in my country, Australia, Asia, Europe. We want to go all around the world. We're getting pros. I got Riley Newman to Australia last year. Dave the Badger Weinbach coming this year, January. So check out the worldpickleball.association.com tours. Want you Americans to come? Want you to come over, mate? Come to Aussie. We're going via Hawaiian Airlines, so it's a lighter trip.
Yeah,
5 hours to Honolulu and 8 hours.
we
4
took a
movies.
cruise down there. We went through Australia.
you went to
New Zealand,
Australia?
We went to the Gold Coast.
Oh, good on you,
New Zealand,
mate.
yeah.
That's where we're going for this tour, and it's
The book.
the book.
Did you get a picture of the book?
Yeah, I've actually got the book,
You-
The
okay,
History of
good, good.
Pickleball.
That-
Yeah,
that's-
tell us about the book.
It's the
Where-
history of pickleball by Jennifer LeCoeur,
Yes,
and it's very, very authentic.
yes,
And it's got pictures in the book of the original courts and stuff.
yep.
And the starter stuff.
So it's
If you really want to know the history, that's.
and then get it on Amazon and all that.
Yeah, well, I
History
don't know where
Pickleball.
she's selling it now. She came around and gave us
Amazon.
all one time when
Ah.
she first put it out. Just,
No, she's a legend of pickleball,
Sign
and-
it for us.
Oh, it's great. You've all made just such a great contribution, and it's amazing. Steve Paranto, Hall of Famer, Wes Gables. I promoted him last year in Oregon doing clinics. They were fantastic. People learnt so much from them. I learnt so much. They're amazing. And Steve's dad, Arlen, was the first inventor of the composite paddle. After these wooden paddles. This is cool.
Cut out
One of the
cardboard.
6 original paddles cut in a jigsaw, 1965. Have a look at that, pickleball fans, and those that should be. Oh, it's amazing. And the goal is, my goal being an Australian being head of World Pickleball Association, is get this wonderful game into the Olympics. So hopefully we'll go 228 LA as a demonstration sport. If not, we'll do our own anyway. Right, we'll do our own. We'll just let them come over. And then Australia
Official.
is 2032.
That'd be nice.
Brisbane, Australia. Get you over there, mate. It's on, if we get it in, it's on me, mate. I'll get you over, right? Trip to Aussie. 2032, you'll be 91 then, or whatever it is.
Yeah, right.
No, you'll be 90 that year, won't you?
I'll be
It's 2023 now. So all the best, everybody. Thank you for your support. Again, Bob, absolutely amazing. And to everyone else involved in pickleball, it's been fantastic. Everyone, just spread the word. And my Safe Foundation for the Prevention of Violence and Homelessness, my goal is to have pickleball as part of Safe Foundation around every city.
Tug of war.
Oh, yeah, tug of war. That's it, mate. Paddle. I want it. And so Safe Foundation, we have a pickleball as a health and sport resort for the homeless and those in need and those who can't afford it. We get, if anyone wants to just contribute their old paddles
and prisons
balls
too. I mean, that was one of Roger Ayers.
That's right.
Who just passed away.
Oh, did he?
But he'd go into these prisons and. They'd be gangs in the prison, the Bloods and Crips and stuff, and they wouldn't even talk to each other and stuff, and he got them playing pickleball, and pretty soon they're playing against each other. At the end of the game, you got to go up and touch the paddles, and they do it, and, it is a good recreation deal.
Bringing people together, that's what it is.
It is.
Thanks again, Bob. Absolutely amazing. Everyone check it out, theworldpickleballassociation.com. Come to Australia, /tours, Dave Weinbach and myself, and help support the Safe Foundation for the Prevention of Violence and Homelessness. We're getting places with land for pickleball courts, swimming, financial education, health for the homeless and help the needy. So if anyone can contribute paddles, balls, their time to help teach, that'd be amazing. Contact me, John Gill. Thanks, everybody. Say goodbye, Bob, to everybody. Yeah, see you guys. Pickleball. It's a fun game with a funny name.